we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, but that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little key.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Shrookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go. All right, it's Monday, 2 o'clock in Lancaster. That means it's time for what?
Lancaster Connects?
Lancaster Connects, that's right. That is right. And we're happy to be here. Another great show. We've got Allison Hawthorne from Homefields on the show with her friend Jay Grisafi, and we'll get to them here in a few minutes. But we've started something new here on Lancaster Connects. And so if you want to be highlighted, please get in our social media feeds for Lancaster Connects, because Sunday afternoons, and yesterday was a glorious afternoon. This is all we'll talk. I can't help it.
You're beaming. You're just
Sunday afternoons as I'm watching football, in which case my team won, and the team I really don't like lost, and they lost in fantastic fashion to our wonderful producer, Chris from Castahead's team, the Lions. So my Eagles won, the Cowboys lost, and the Lions won. So it was like good all the way around. Anyway, as I'm watching football, hopefully loving what my team is doing, I look at what's going on in our Lancaster Connect social media feeds, and we get to see who is doing great stuff here in the community. We highlight 4 or 5 each week. So without too much further ado, we've got the Giving Expo. So the ever amazing David Lapp, who I'm just such a fan of his leadership and the change he's making. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I saw this. He turned us on to this when we went to lunch with him a few weeks back. But Giving Expo is October 22nd. So any charity that supports Lancaster County can be there. You can come and set up and have a table and a booth and explain to the community, because community members come, and you can come and connect. So you might come and connect because you want to volunteer time. You might come and connect because you have talents to offer. So maybe you can do websites or graphic design, and you want to give back some of that to your community. The community can come and connect. So just a great thing. Looks like it's at the Wyndham Resort and Convention Center right there on Lincoln Highway East. I guess that's the old Host.
Yeah.
As
Renovated.
we all localans might know it.
That's right.
Yeah, nice, renovated. Who stayed there? One of our good friends stayed there. Remember?
Oh, Lou.
Sweet Lou. Sweet Lou stayed there for a while. So nice property. Giving Expo, October 22nd. If you have a charity, you can set up there, and as a community member, you can come and check things out.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And on that note, just something to really share. This came across our desk. Very cool. This is a thank you card from Blessings of Hope. We donated to their disaster relief for the Hurricane Helene, and this is pretty neat.
Really cool.
Handwritten. Now, this is like a little business lesson for any of our business friends that have a family business. So David had his daughter, Rachel, handwrite this note.
Super cool. Love the smiley faces and the stars. And
yeah. So just a really cool touch. So local businesses pay attention. And that's a neat thing to emulate. But here's the real cool stat. 22 million pounds of food so far this year donated. 22 million pounds of food. So that's very cool.
Yep, and they're actually on the screen. My kids are off school today. Columbus Day, kids are off school. And we had an opportunity to take them. I didn't take them. I was here. But my wife took them to Blessings of Hope, and they were apple sorters today. So they were sorting apples, and then they cleaned up when their shift was over. I think often kids are kind of like, confused about what volunteering might mean and, maybe hesitant to do it. But my wife said they had a fantastic time, kind of feeling like they made a difference, a small difference in the way that they could this morning. So, Chris, thanks for showing those pictures. It's a cool facility. If you want to volunteer, go to Blessings of Hope website. They're always taking volunteers. I mean, I know they've shared the volunteer numbers with. They got thousands of volunteers every month, obviously to carry out the mission that they need to carry out.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, they're doing wonderful work.
Yep.
Another one. So Splat Studios partnered with Aaron's Acres. Aaron's Acres we've had on the show. They help children with learning disabilities, differently abled, physical disability, work with a lot of autistic children. And so they did something pretty cool with Splat Studios. Splat Studios is a art studio that has adaptive, creative, hands-on learning, learn with confidence, create with confidence. Splat Studios is out of Hershey. But they did something really cool where they came locally to Aaron's Acres, and parents got to sit with kids, and I believe it was make Christmas ornaments. So we're getting to that time.
Like 2 months away.
I know, we haven't had Halloween yet, but it is that time. We have Thanksgiving, my favorite, in between.
Oh, that's my favorite Christmas too. Oh yeah.
But that was pretty cool that they got to do that. So Splat Studios and Aaron's Acres. We had a link, but maybe it's all right. I can still talk about it. Still do all the great stuff they're doing. Off the Streets, Lancaster continues to do great work. They had a bunch of move-ins this past weekend, which that's where Ben and I here at Gardeners, our consistent charitable give back into the community goes to Off the Streets to help people get out of homeless and stay housing secure, which is a big problem in our community. They did a bunch of move-ins. Some had some struggles. As you might imagine, a lot of logistics, securing housing, getting the folks that they helped all lined up, getting the volunteers there, getting the furniture in and out. But they continue to do great work. And additionally, Lena Poenadel, who's just amazing. She's one of the volunteer coordinators there and operations managers, all things Off the Streets. She said that the casework continues. They need people who can lift about 50 pounds on a Saturday morning. You go to contact Stephanie, otsvolunteers@gmail.com. You can go to their site, lancaster.offthestreetsnow.com. Wish lists are on their Facebook page and on their website. They always have a need for small dressers, nightstands, upright chests, kitchen tables, chairs, love seats, towel sets, twin and full bedding, which we donate the mattresses to, mattress covers, box fans, hand mixers, toasters, small microwaves. So if you have good quality, like small kitchen appliances, anything that I read off that list or more, please go to their website, lancaster.offthestreetsnow.com. Check out what they need and see if you can't be helpful to their efforts there.
Yeah, Off the Streets is a great place for maybe a teenager, who can lift that. They can volunteer at Blessings of Hope when they're young, volunteer at Off the Streets when they become older and can lift a little bit more. That's
exactly. Cool. And that's the thing. We talk often time, talent, and treasure. It doesn't always have to be a donation. Off the Streets can always get money and they can always get donations, but if they can't get people to move people in, their mission gets cut off at the knees, so to say. Yeah. So that's that. Another cool one, United Way of Lancaster received 44 pallets of clothing from Fresh Clean Threads, sending 15 of those pallets to the York United Way, and then donating the rest to 17 other local charities.
That's cool.
A lot of good happening here in Lancaster. I think a lot of it goes applauded, but a lot of it can also go unnoticed, and that's why we choose to highlight a handful of it here each week, just showing people that other people in their community care about them, and there's opportunities to connect. Maybe you need a little bit of a hand up today, and maybe tomorrow you can be that person giving a hand up. But I thought that was really neat what they had going on there. It's a lot of clothing.
Yeah, and we'll actually be talking with our guests soon about the United Way and their efforts with the program that they're going to talk to us about.
Yeah, yep. And then last one, this is Lancaster City Police Department. This is the last week to apply to be a Lancaster City police officer. So they got Lancaster City police testing on October 19th. So you can apply. I know that might sound a little late in the game, but I'm guessing if you're an officer elsewhere, if you're a sheriff elsewhere, a constable elsewhere, picking up this show, you have a family member, they were reminiscing or remunerating about their police officer related duties elsewhere, and you thought, hey, Lancaster might be a nice place for them to work, you could pass this on to them. So you would go to their Facebook page for those details there and check out what they've got going on. So that's our little rundown, what's going on in the community. I think it's always neat to connect and share out what great people are doing here for our friends and our neighbors in Lancaster.
I think it's time for our guests.
It is.
We've got
Go ahead and bring it up.
We've got repeat guest Allison Hawthorne representing Homefields Farm in Millersville. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
And with her, we've got Jay Grisafi from Conestoga Valley School District. How are you, Jay?
Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So this is a little bit, I think maybe we could start out by giving our watchers and listeners a little bit of a kind of a recap of what Homefields Farm in Millersville is all about. I know it's part of the Goodwill program. So maybe Allison, give us a little bit of a recap of, who Homefields Farm is, what you do and maybe what your mission is there.
Sure. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to clarify and bring everyone up to speed. Homefields operates Homefields Care Farm and also provides 2 residential homes, group homes, for adults with disabilities, specifically intellectual developmental disabilities and autism and other cognitive and neurodiverse folks who need support. Goodwill exited the program due to a regulatory change at the end of 2018. So Homefields has been the sole operator of the care farm, and that's really enabled us to grow and offer more opportunities for vocational training and volunteerism.
Wonderful. I just want to say I love what you're doing and the people you're helping. I'm a big believer in pushing forward, the thematic stuff, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, all of that stuff. But for people with the differently abled skills and cognitive issues, physical issues that just aren't theirs, it's not choices they had. This is just the card they were given in life. I love that you're there doing what you're doing.
Gosh, thank you for that encouragement. We always need donations, but you know what? We need encouragement and validation like that too. We have expanded and grown beyond our initial focus. So we welcome people with all abilities, and we certainly welcome people with different support needs, including folks that might be suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, veterans, folks in recovery as well.
And I realize, Allison, I'm sorry, I misspoke about the Goodwill involvement. I remember Homefields from back in the day when my wife and I lived in Millersville, and we bought the food share, and it was always through Goodwill. So that's just stuck in my head.
Golly, that's perfectly fine. We had a long standing relationship with Goodwill, and it was a great relationship. It was a regulatory change that forced a lot of providers to re-examine their business models and have to retool. And that gave Homefields these opportunities to create more programs and expand the CSA, the Community Supported Agriculture Project, as well as vocational training.
And that's where Jay comes in. Is that right?
Well, that's right. That's right. Prior to partnering with United Way through a Level Up and Launch grant, we were reaching out to teachers in our neighboring school districts to offer opportunities to their students who have IEPs and learning differences and support needs. So folks could, these young folks between the ages of 14 and 21 could get their hands on some vocational experience and training to help inform them what they might like to do and create a set of skills to move them forward. Jay has been participating for a number of years. As you can see, if folks visit our website, you'll see some of Jay's students and Jay with the masks on. So we've had a great relationship with Jay and his students, and I'm pleased that he's joining us today. So he can talk about the impact that the program has had on some of his students.
Yeah, Jay, so welcome. So what is your role at Conestoga Valley?
So I'm a certified K-12 special education teacher. I've been working at Conestoga Valley High School for the last 15 years. I actually happen to be an alumni, K-12 alumni. So returned back home to teach there for the last 15 years. For the past 5 years, I've been the transition programming teacher. And what that comes down to is I work with students with special needs in a team. And I have two IU13 job trainers on my team. And we work with case managers for all of our students with special needs at the high school. There's ballpark around 200 students who have special needs. And we look at their plans, at their IEPs, and we try to make connections from their plans, what they want to do after they graduate, to what we're doing with them today. So a lot of the students in my specific program, their goals are to go to work after they graduate from high school. So what we're doing through our program is making sure that we're helping them to develop those vocational and employment-based skills to prepare them. We do that in a number of ways. Really, the partnership with Homefields is absolutely perfect. It aligns with a lot of the other work we're doing 5 days a week at CV. We're bringing students, we're doing school-based vocational instruction in the school building to teach both soft and hard skills as it relates to work and employment. And we're also doing volunteer work out in the community. Sometimes students even get paid opportunities in the community. And our goal again is to like build all those skills and help them connect to opportunities down the road, so that they can provide for themselves. And we firmly believe, and we're very much in alignment with Homefields, that everyone can work, everyone can do meaningful work, and that's a very powerful thing when you students experience that, building confidence and being outdoors and lots of wonderful opportunities at Homefields that we've had over the years. I've been taking students there since I believe 2019, I believe. So it's been for a while now.
Yeah. That phrase meaningful work just pinged a thought in my head. I was traveling last week, and so as one does while they're traveling, they're on their phone, and I happened to get onto Reddit, and I forget which subreddit it was, but totally unrelated to vocational training or the work you do, both Allison and Jay, but it was a gentleman who drives a garbage truck. He says, I'm a single guy. I think I'm happy. I make this much a year, which was a very nice wage. I think like 75 grand a year. Lives in a relatively low cost of living area. Had investments. He's like, I just don't think I serve society that well. And there was a litany of people commenting like, hey, you do meaningful work. And I chimed in. I said, look no further than your community Facebook group. Watch it this week, Lancaster, in your local community Facebook groups, when the posts start coming up about why didn't they pick the trash up? That'll happen Thursday, Friday, because we're delayed a week because delayed a day because of the holiday today. And I just said it's meaningful work because look how the people respond when they miss you. And not, in no way do I want to equate your students with trash truck drivers, or not that means anything bad, but everybody has the opportunity to contribute in society in some way and fashion. And likely you're unlocking things that these kids might never thought of, and maybe their parents never thought that they could do. Do you have any examples like that to share?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I just stay with the on the Homefields topic, I think we're bringing students out there with a wider variety of abilities and disabilities. And I think that, in society, and I think teachers and parents, we all have a tendency to want to overhelp, right? So it's just amazing to see kids get out in the field or get into the greenhouse. And they oftentimes exceed expectations, whether it be, seeding a tray with really tiny seeds and being really nice and accurate with that, or, harvesting sweet potatoes in the field like we did last week. Or being able to follow multiple step directions. For some of our kids, that could be a challenge, and they can run with that when it's something that they're really motivated to do. Or in this picture here, you'll see this is from our last Tuesday. We harvested a whole bunch of sweet potatoes. Honestly, that's my favorite activity on the farm. It's kind of like the experience of fishing when someone catches a big fish, like the awe of it. Well, like pulling a big sweet potato out of the ground was awesome. And one of my favorite things that we've been doing differently this year is we're partnering with other schools. So we have Manheim Township School District there as well. So we've gotten to know our groups have gotten to know each other over the last couple of weeks. I'm also bringing some students from our Impact Club, some neurotypical students without disabilities come out, and they get the added benefit of being a mentor. And some of these girls here in this picture, they've never done any farming before, so they're learning alongside of our their peers and building relationships. And for some reason, it just seems to always be a beautiful day when we get out there too.
We try to arrange that, Jay. We don't always try to arrange that. In response to your question, do we have an example? One of our farmers has been with us since 2001, and our opening season was 1999. So that's a really long time. And his parents talk about how it's opened up his world and created more confidence and more independence because he sees what he can do. And that's what we try to frame and create at Homefields is opportunities that will support the need. And we see folks, as Jay said, exceeding expectations and moving above that, way above that bar that we thought we would set for folks. So removing limitations and creating supports that make sense is what we're trying to achieve. United Way's Level Up and Launch program, if I could take a moment to talk about that at this point, if that makes sense, is United Way Level Up and Launch creates a dollar for dollar matching program. So for Homefields, our original grant was to expand this vocational training program, and that was a $22,000 grant. So we have a dollar for dollar match up to $22,000, which gives us a potential impact of $66,000. This is allowing us to offer 40 more vocational training slots to students from Penn Manor, Manheim Township, Conestoga Valley, and surrounding school districts. It has allowed us to have the courage and the support to create a much needed part-time position in a program coordinator who can create the right setting and the right skills. So for example, creating goals that students will learn how to use 5 common hand tools and be able to use them independently, follow directions with more than 2 steps, those kinds of outcomes that create both soft skills and acquire some of the hard skills that would be portable into a workplace. And this United Way Level Up and Launch grant, we could not have expanded our program or created this this program coordinator position. We could not have done that without this grant. So we're very, very grateful and appreciative of this opportunity. And we've really been appreciative of the support from the community as well.
So how does the dollar for dollar donation work? And I know there's a website we can go to and the community can go to help support this. And I think you referenced maybe in the pre-show that there's a time-sensitive nature to the donation. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Thanks for that opportunity to clarify. The United Way Level Up and Launch program, there are several ways to donate. You can donate directly through United Way by choosing Homefields and using that link. You can go directly onto Homefields, the homepage, and there's a donation link right there. And you can click the dollar match and donate in that way. And the time-sensitive nature is November 4th, or November 5th, I'm sorry. This program runs through November 5th. If you don't wish to use United Way website or Homefields website to donate online, you may send a check directly to Homefields at our P.O. Box 41, Millersville 17551, and make sure that is postmarked by November 5th.
Gotcha.
Wonderful. And so, obviously every organization needs to raise money, but it's so important because, Jay, I'll turn it back to you. You have a long time in education, 15 years, I believe you said, helping your students in special education. What does an environment like Homefields, an environment away from the desk and front of the room learning, do for the students you serve overall? How impactful is it? Oh, it's so impactful. We blew Jay's mind that he left
He
the
blew off the screen. He's coming back.
So as Allison touched on before, it's an opportunity for soft skill and hard skill development, right? So hard skills being the specific tasks, right? So learning how to use the hand tools, learning how to plant a tree, seeding a tray of lettuce, learning about compost, how that works, how we can incorporate into our soil to make our plants grow stronger. Those hard skills are things that our students are learning, but they're also learning the soft skills. So the communication skills, learning how to be on time. I think Allison touched on nicely, like following multiple step directions. But then like when you add the element of growing in the soil in an organic environment, there's that therapeutic element that is sort of just the kids all, including myself, we all come back to school feeling a little bit charged up and energized from it's hard to put your finger on what it is, but it's pretty consistent. So they're getting that element too, and they're learning about their friends from a neighboring school district, getting building relationships. So it's really different for every student. Everyone seems to benefit in a different way, and that's part of the beauty of it. And it's part of what makes them really good there at Homefields. Andrew, the farm manager, he is absolutely gifted at reaching out to these groups and figuring out how to reach different students with different abilities and all these different groups. And it's just a wonderful environment. Building confidence. There's just so many elements that make it just a wonderful day and experience for our kids and myself.
Yeah. I mean, some of the volunteer work that I do is in the career center lane of things, and talking to a number of instructors over the years, students with IEPs and 504 plans, they obviously have to prepare for those students coming into their class each year. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is a very informal survey results, but what I've deduced is that from the instructors, about 80% of the students, not that they violate their plans or don't use them, don't respect them, but the students just excel in about 2 weeks' time in the lab, in the room, in the environment, because it's just a different environment that matches their learning, matches their passion for learning, matches their skills, and they just take off. Mm-hmm. Their grades improve, their outlook on education improves, their friendships improve. So that environment is so important. So the Homefields, what you're doing to provide that environment, fantastic for these kids. Just love it. Another question that I had, Jay, you said about 200 students that you work with at Conestoga Valley. Is that right?
There's approximately 200 students who are identified as having special needs at CV. I don't necessarily work with all 200. It's a needs-based. So I primarily, through the transition program, work with students who are targeting going straight to work after they graduate from high school.
Right.
But there might be other students who might just need some, confidence building to build a resume for their first part-time job, or might work with students who just need help finding jobs that are appropriate for them in the area, or practicing interview skills. So there's a lot of different ways that we reach students.
And of that 200 students, so against the CV population, what percentage is that? Is that about 15%?
So we have about 1,400 students ballpark at the high school.
Okay.
Not 100% sure on that, but that's
so about 15%. Yeah. Okay.
Approximately.
Yeah. Wow. So I just wanted to share that for people that might be listening and watching. Like, it's not, when I grew up in Cocalico, there were a couple kids that had support from special education teachers. Like, I'm talking a handful. And it's just very different today. And I want people to know that and hear that our schools need a lot of support, and great programs like Homefields come in and help with that support. And I share it, that it's just important you pay attention to how our kids need to learn and the things that our schools can do and help, and can really push forward kids in a meaningful way and learners in that way. So.
What Jay is referring, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just can't say enough thank you for all what you do and the way you do it.
We appreciate that. Thank you for that validation and encouragement. What Jay's talking about in terms of transition is really reflects back to the genesis of Homefields, when founding parents and concerned professionals got together and really identified and realized that there is a dearth of resources for young people when they age out of the school system, either through a diploma, graduation, or aging out at 21. And that's the reason that the Transition Council exists and transition programming exists, because there's opportunities both for living. Where am I going to live? How am I going to create that life? What are my options and choices for work and for living and volunteering and connecting are not, we didn't have a lot of options, and those options are still, we still need to grow in that area of choice. So that really harkens back to the reason that Homefields existed. The homes came first, the fields came later, and we still have a lot of work to do in that area.
I love that. Jay, I have a question about your students. When they age out of school, I think you referenced the age of 21. What kind of employers might employ a student that has been through the special needs programs and have had experience through working at a place like Homefields?
Well, there's such a wide range of students, and special needs can mean a lot of different things. It could be
Okay.
a student might have a physical disability but be gifted otherwise, or the opposite may be the case. So part of the challenge and part of what makes my job so interesting and fun is it's a big puzzle, right? Figuring out what a student needs, what they're good at, and figure out what position I can put them into to challenge them and make sure they're always reaching. So um, eh, employers and all kinds of areas. So we partner with some restaurants in the area. We do some warehouse work, some production work with students, farm work at Homefields. We're going to be starting an exciting program at CV with the hydroponic container farm. So we're going to be doing some farming of
Cool.
our own at CV. That's going to be a big deal. We just got started with that last week. So really a variety. We really try to, as we design our experiences for our students, we try to have an understanding of what our students' interests are, where their abilities lie, and then really have a continuum of, some entry level experiences that might be less intimidating for students to get into that are not, as skill based. And then, we certainly would go all the way to like some more challenging physically, or in terms of having the ability to multitask or be more customer facing. So we really try as best we can to tailor our experiences to our students' strengths and needs. But in terms of the employers, we've found that employers across Lancaster County, our business partners, and in what we do, have been very excited to work with our students. We provide them support and instruction. We're not dropping anyone off and leaving and saying good luck. We're
Okay.
supporting them and instructing them along the way.
That was going to be a follow-up question
Yeah.
to say, like, this is an opportunity to, I don't know if advocate's the right word, rally other employers to maybe be open to
Yeah.
working with students that come through. And so you said, it's not just, hey, we got their resume looking good, you hired them, have fun. It sounds like there's a little bit of transitional care, transitional communication, maybe some guidance on, hey, here's how to work with this person, and here's how they can excel in your environment. Am I hearing that right?
Exactly. It goes both ways. So we're not only working with our students, but we'd be working with those employers as well. So when we bring our students out in the community, like I said, we have our IU13 job trainers from Job Training Services, and they're trained on how to do all of these things. But we have partnerships with these businesses and kind of clarify the specific jobs that our students would engage in. And we talk about what accommodations our students may need. And we talk to our students about that process, because they need to learn how to advocate for themselves if they do need accommodations in the workplace. things like could be something as simple as a checklist, or maybe a student with a physical disability might need a seated break when they can continue working if they just had a stool at that location, or different things like that. So we're certainly, I think, educating some of these employers along the way. And with these partnerships, we our goal is to try to put students in positions where they could eventually be hired, and that has happened for us in the past. So I'd say honestly, we have more employers who want to hire our students than students who are able to connect the dots with transportation and some of those things to be able to take those jobs. So we have a pretty high success rate with that.
Fantastic. That was going to be my next question. Like, what is where is a mismatch of need? Is it we need more employers to come on board with this concept of bringing your students who can excel with them on board, or do you have more students than employers can fill positions for?
Yeah, so our students aren't considered employees for them, so that makes it easy for them because we rotate our kids through. Usually, we try to have our students build proficiency, so it's not a field trip experience. It's a once a week for an entire marketing period, which is approximately 9 or 10 weeks. So they're able to build proficiency, get to know the procedures, get to know the people there, and importantly, they get to know our students and determine if they might want to hire them as an employee. So that's all. We really try to emulate the workplace and expectations. If a student, it's a commitment, and we take that serious. If a student's homesick, we expect them to call in to us, let us know, hey, Mr. Grisafi, I'm not going to be in today, because we're going to get a substitute for them. And I think one of the easiest ways for kids or anyone to get fired is the no call, no show. We don't want to see that. So we drill that on time is important. All these are all learning moments and opportunities. So we'd rather have them stumble with us because we can teach them and get them back in, on course, as opposed to learn the hard way and feel defeated if, they get fired from their first job or, a job out of high school. So providing the supports ahead of time is really important.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the school district really believes in the program, gives you a great level of support. It makes me wonder, like, do other school districts have this level of involvement in a program? Is this something that's unique at Conestoga Valley, or how's that all work?
Everyone does it a little bit different. So there's, in IDEA, every student with an IEP does have a transition plan as part of the plan. And I'm maybe biased. I think it's the most important part of the plan. It's the goals that we're working towards. But every district has the ability to implement their programs sort of as they see fit. So this is how we're doing it at CV, but there's certainly other districts in the area who are taking their kids out in the community and have job trainers through IU13, or maybe they're doing it on their own in a different fashion. So these services are out there. Everyone's doing it differently. I like to think we're doing it well at CV. Other schools certainly are as well. So if you look at the students in that picture from Manheim Township, that's a group of students through their transition program as well.
Yeah.
So Allison, at Homefields, you must have students there all the time.
Well, we have students at least twice a week. And we also welcome adult volunteers from programs like ODC, Occupational Development Center, Concepts, which is a CSG program. So some folks are coming out and they are continuing to acquire skills with the goal of becoming reemployed or continuing employment part-time. And some folks are coming out for a therapeutic benefit. All of our experiences are real in that they're not a simulated experience. So when folks come out and they're doing a job, they're actually participating in a needed production role, not something that we create just for that moment. So people with disabilities have long struggled to be gainfully employed part-time. And most folks are part-time because that's their capacity. And I want to encourage employers to be open and listen with an open heart that our adults that have disabilities and support needs may need an adjustment. As Jay pointed out, something as simple as a checklist or a sitting job or a sitting break in the middle of a work shift to continue. Sometimes there's a little bit of job coaching and training, but employers are not just hey, here you go. We provide support even at the adult training level. That's why ODC, connecting with ODC or CSG concepts, employers will have that kind of support for ongoing job coaching. But yes, we have at least 2 student groups a week, and that extends to on to college as well.
Yeah. Well, and just to remind other people watching who are employers or managers of people, when we hear you might need to provide a stool, a checklist, this little specialized approach, I think the challenge I'd have back to everybody who employs or leads other people with or without different abilities, with or without different needs, you're kind of probably already doing special things anyway, right?
Well,
I know we are. I know
Sure.
we have to lead our people here kind of individually. Each responds in a different way. And so it's not that big of a deal. If you have somebody that's passionate about the work you can give them and that they can do for you, you really ought to go that extra mile and be open to it because you're probably doing it anyway. But man, what a great thing to do for our community and for our people.
It's very impactful when you see people who have not previously had that experience of seeing a job come full circle. Many people with disabilities do part of a job. So in a production setting, for example, they might be breaking down CD cases, but they never see the complete job. One of the joys at Homefields early on for me was to watch a person, young gentleman, learn the whole process of growing a tomato from seed to the shareholder's hand. When the shareholder came on site and wanted to know, well, where are these pick your own fields? This young man who previously was very shy, only connected to a few people, was welcoming to that shareholder and said, hey, come on, I'm going to show you what we did. I'll show you how to get the good tomatoes. Don't pick these. That's full circle, and that's very rare. In the world of people that have disabilities. They might be doing one part of a job, but never seeing that to fruition. And that's really meaningful and motivating. That's very impactful for people.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Jay, anything to add to what Allison just said there about the impact you're creating?
Yeah, I love what you said about the seed to harvest, that full cycle, that full circle element is great. Our kids, we did plant sales two years in a row where it was kind of like that opportunity for kids to give back to Homefields because Homefields has been great to us, and we started going out there, and the last 2 years we planted our seeds in early February and grew them over the weeks and did various activities. And then by May, we transplanted into larger pots, and then we sold them at the high school and sold them to staff and to students. And they got to go home and plant them in their home gardens, and we earned money that we were able to give back to Homefield. So it was sort of a different kind of full circle thing there, but they got to do that, and then it also experienced the joy of giving, and they really enjoyed that. And it was an opportunity for some of our students from the Impact Club that organized the event, and so really can just hit kids from different angles and through these opportunities, and it's been wonderful to be able to take advantage of, and it just seems like it's just expanding and growing from here. So it's been really exciting.
The native plant sale was such a joy for us because it was that moment where students can plant those seeds in February in the greenhouses and nourish them, and then there they are doing the sale, and the give back to Homefields was really meaningful and joyful, and we thank you for that, Jay.
Yeah, and then this fall it's been fun to see some staff members and even a few students would come grab me, hey, Mr. Grisafi, catch me in the hallway and say, hey, my flowers are doing so well, or they're multiplying, maybe out of control. I'm like, well, you got to we taught you how to do weeding so you can weed some of those out, but it's just it's been wonderful. It really has been.
So as we look to wrap up, I just want to say, Jay, you were very humble in saying all schools have the role you have and things like that. I pay a lot of attention to our community and what people are saying about our community, Conestoga Valley School District is blessed to have you. CV School District comes up often in, hey, I'm moving to the area, or I'm transitioning in the county, or from an adjacent county. I've heard about this school. I've heard about that school. CV comes up. I see it multiple times. It's always up there in the top. And you all just got a teacher, one of my son's favorite former teachers, Mr. Chase Godfrey. Have you been able to meet him yet?
I don't know him.
District?
But
okay, yeah. So he moved there. So I look at that as validation of what CV's doing as a school district, because where great people go, it's like, well, they don't go backwards typically in their career, and I think that goes everywhere, right? But you all are doing great work. I see it, and I just want to give you a shout out. You were far too humble. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to let you be humble. You're doing great work, and not every school district has a Mr. Grisafi, so only Conestoga Valley does.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Allison, do you want to share any news or upcoming events that is going on at Homefields? Any plans for 2025 and beyond?
Oh my gosh, thanks for that opportunity. We are teeing up the 2025 CSA season right now and looking at our shareholder surveys, what we did well, what shareholders would like to do, like us to do a little differently, or they'd like to see in 2025. So keep an eye on our social media and our website for our rollout of the 2025 season. We are wrapping up our season right now with 3 weeks left. We will make an appearance at Manor Market second Saturday in November and second Saturday in December for the holiday market. So please come and see us at Manor Market in Millersville second Saturday. And please go online to United Way or to homefields.org and check out the donation button to be part of that Level Up and Launch. Every dollar is matched, so $1 is $2 and $50 is $100. That's where you can really make an impact as we roll out our programming for 2025. Thanks for that opportunity to talk about that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know when we were talking about bringing you on the show, you mentioned the impact that your first show with us had to your donors, and so some impact that was made there. So hopefully we can make even more of an impact for you with the show.
We really value the opportunity, and I appreciate that Jay could take time out of his school day to talk about how his students are impacted. And if there are any teachers out there that would like more information, give us a call or go online and fill out our contact form. We would love to talk to you about your students participating in 2025.
That's great.
Okay, very good, very good. Do we want to go through Connection Cocktail?
Let's do a Connection Cocktail. So right. Connection Cocktail, Allison, you've been through this before.
Jay's like, oh no.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
School cocktails can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's a day off.
It's a day off. I'm okay.
That's true. It's true. So it's just to get to know the two of you a little bit better. You want to kick it off?
Yeah. So favorite sports teams, if you have one.
I'm a hometown guy. Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, right. Sixers. Yeah.
So a little bit of little depression from last week's Phillies loss to some, maybe it swung the other way with an Eagles win.
Fan. They won, but not the way I want them to win.
Right.
You know that kind of thing. So yeah,
we don't have another hour for that part, so we'll just leave it at that.
I'm a hometown person too, and I like the Stormers and the Phillies, as well. And our family's a Penn State family too.
They had a fun game.
Big game Saturday.
They did not play well in the first half and then completely turned it around and maybe got some luck towards the end. But, hey, a win's a win, right?
A win's a win. Yeah. They say there's no style points for win, but that win,
we have time in front of us.
I'm a Penn State alum as well. And,
cool.
I'm waiting for the Ohio State game.
The season always comes down to that OSU game.
Yeah, at least there's the 12-team playoff now, so it's not as bad as it used to be with that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
My turn.
I know. All right.
This is a new question for Lancaster Connects guests. If you could travel back in time, what year and where would you go to? Or time period. It doesn't have to be a specific year, but where are you going? And where are you going back to?
Ask him to punch in the date like the
right.
the DeLorean.
The DeLorean,
Back to the Future.
If I could be a squirrel in a tree, maybe. I would go
Squirrel in a
back to
tree.
like maybe before like the early 1800s, like out west before we settled out west and see what it really
Okay,
looked like out there before
that's a cool
all the
answer. I like
settlements and
that.
development and tore everything down. Yeah.
That's cool. That's
I would have to say back to the time of Walden Pond and the early 1800s for some of the same reasons, to see maybe what we could have done differently in conservation and what was the landscape like.
That's cool.
Very good answer.
That's
I
cool.
like that question.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a million different answers.
And the
right?
funniest
Sure.
thing is the Sleep Summit event I was at last week. It was Back to the Future with the Future Asleep was the theme. Fantastic promotion. There was an actual DeLorean right in the middle of the conference. I have the picture, so maybe we'll bring that picture up when we do future connection.
I thought you were talking about bringing a DeLorean into Gardeners.
That would be even better. Okay, last question for both of you. So when you're not doing the great work you're doing for Lancaster, which I think is the favorite thing you do for Lancaster, but when you're not doing that work, what is your favorite thing to do around town?
I'm more for me. I like if I'm gonna guess a day like today, maybe go for a hike somewhere. Maybe go to Tuquan Glen or Landis Woods is kind of like close by home. Like to get outside, enjoy the weather, I like quiet time. Do some yard work in my own backyard. I actually enjoy that. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Maybe
Anything
go out
outdoors.
to eat. Maybe go out to eat in the evening. Go to Luca's or something like that. Maybe Mad
That's cool.
Chef. Yeah.
I'd have to say I enjoy some of the similar things. Jay and I probably have a lot of similar interests since we're doing the same work. On a day like today, if I were off work, I would take my dogs and my paints and I would head to Middle Creek and capture what's happening in the fall. And I like to see the migration of birds in the winter. So I like to be outside whenever I can. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm gardening or I'm reading.
That's cool. I saw this past week, I think a lot of people in Lancaster saw the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of pictures in the Facebook feed from people that were at Middle Creek taking pictures up there of the Northern Lights. I totally missed it. I was at a volleyball game, but.
Well, actually, you couldn't. We were in North Carolina and we couldn't see them except taking a photo with an iPhone on night mode. So when you point the camera to the sky, we saw nothing but clouds. Then we took the photos and that's where the Northern Lights showed up. And like you, I saw photos from all over the area, the East Coast.
It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Jay, Allison, thank you so much for all the work you do, taking the time out of your schedule today. Jay, it's your day off. It's a teacher day off, and here you are doing work. We appreciate you.
Happy
we know
to.
Teachers do a lot more work than gets seen, so thanks for being amazing and serving your kids the way you do. Allison, thanks for being a part of Homefields, providing that home base for people to come and get their hands in the mud and the dirt and grow stuff and learn new things. Just awesome work you're doing for Lancaster County, so thank you.
Thank you for the support and the encouragement, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep. Thanks for being on the show.
Have a great day.
Afternoon. Yep.
Thank you. Yep. Good night.
Yeah, great people doing great work.
It's so cool. I mean, we see it all the time on this show, like collaboration between different organizations. Here's two organizations that you wouldn't think have any relationship with each other at all. You've got a farm and you've got a school. But when you consider that these kids can learn through a vocational opportunity on the farm, it's cool to hear that story. I didn't know that partnership existed.
Yeah. I mean, I think, whether your child has an IEP plan, has a need for added supports, I think challenging your kid to learn in different environments can just probably show them a path in life that they never expected they could find.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I am not a fan of just sit in a classroom, look at a board, look at a laptop and learn. Not that doesn't have its place, but I think so many kids can benefit by just having a little tweak in environment, a little different exposure to things, and we can really set kids up for success when we challenge ourselves to go learn in a new environment.
I like the fact that this was food related too, because I think for a lot of kids, food, like, it comes from the refrigerator, it comes from McDonald's, it comes from, you know, a package that they open up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
food actually comes from the ground, you
Comes
know,
from
like,
a place.
and for them to see, you know, the work put in, putting it in the ground, harvesting it, taking it for sale, or eating it themselves. I think that's really, really cool experience.
Yeah, that's right. I have a sleep better tip, but I am not a prepared host for this moment. Ben, could you hand me that pillow that is right there?
Again.
And this is appropriate. I probably should have had a little better pillow, but this is better for my tip. So I was, as I said, at the Sleep Summit last week, which was an industry event where we talked about sleep and the future of sleep and what worked in the past and how we can extrapolate it out to the future. Met a gentleman from Ireland named Colin who works for Sleep Score Labs, and Sleep Score basically aggregates all this data from medical institutions, you know, for-profit companies, non-for-profit companies, associations. They aggregate it all and they point us all in a direction. And here was the very best tidbit that he shared. So a properly fit pillow, okay? So this is not a properly fit pillow for my big head and my wide shoulders, right? A properly fit pillow, a pillow that fits your body, works with your body, relaxes all this connective tissue in your neck, will give you cumulatively 8 hours of more sleep a month. 8 extra hours of sleep a month. That's one extra day.
Okay, yeah.
So in a year's time, almost 2 weeks of sleep just by having a properly fit pillow. Well, when you get our book Sleep Better, we'll mail you it for free. And in the front of that is a coupon to get a free pillow that will fit to you. We have a machine here where we build a pillow for you and we custom fit it.
We do.
All along, we're giving you a bonus free 12 days of sleep, 12 nights of sleep a year with that pillow. We didn't even know it.
I love that.
8 hours a month. So it matters. It's 30% of your comfort of bed. It's 25% of the space you sleep on in bed. And you need a pillow that fits your head properly. Because, you know, the Tommy Boy thing, fat guy in a little coat, big guy with a little pillow, doesn't really work. So let us fit you for a pillow. We'd be happy to do that. Just visit the store. If you want tips like this and more, get our book, Sleep Better, from gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better.
Great. Love that. Got a handwritten testimonial here that came in. This came in over the weekend. I don't think I even shared this one with you, Jeff.
Holding out on me.
This was from Vicky. Kind of interesting on this one. We always ask what, you know, might have been wrong with the previous mattress, and of course then we ask about our process to help you find a mattress that's going to meet your needs. So Vicky wrote that her previous mattress was bought because it was a beauty rest bed. It had a 90-day warranty on it. The person at this actually department store that happens to sit across the street from us, they'll remain unnamed, but they took Vicky.
Pick a choice of 2 or 3.
Then this is back in 2013, so like 10 years ago. Took her to the most expensive mattress, and basically she bought it because of this guarantee. Of course, it failed after 5 months, and she's put up with it, unfortunately, for the last 9+ years.
Oh, that's a rough one to hear.
Yeah, exactly. So on our process to help her assess the sleep needs, she was stunned at our process compared to the process she went through with the department store before, more of a high pressure sort of, hey, buy it now because of this guarantee sort of thing. It was completely different from her experience before, and she genuinely appreciated Chad's guidance, suggestions, and he helped me select the very best mattress for my needs. She thought our service was outstanding. So I thought that was interesting that she shared that experience before. Unfortunately, sometimes mattresses are purchased for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
It's either buy it now because the deal goes off tomorrow sort of thing, or they buy into a brand, or they buy something that their friend recommended. Well, everybody has their own unique sleep needs, and that's what we're really so good at here, is assessing those sleep needs and matching the person to the product that best fits those needs. So I thought that was cool.
And just to add to that, after sitting through Colin's presentation last week, you know, when I said, boy, it's so hard to hear that, got it 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes a lot of folks say, well, I just have to get my money out of it. We know enough about sleep now. You can Google it. This isn't me speaking to you. Sleep is power. It's restorative to your health. It cleanses your brain of toxins at night. My grandmother passed from Alzheimer's. That's one very connective thing that we know about sleep can help us, help those we love and care for. Do not stay stuck in a bad sleep product. Okay. And I know it's easy to say when it's not my money, our money, and we're the ones selling you the thing that can replace the bad thing you have. I'll equate it this way. If you got a bad heart operation done, you were supposed to like have 3 valves repaired, but only 2 of the 3 were working. Would you just say, well, I paid all that money in that deductible, I'll just let it go?
Probably not.
You wouldn't do that. Okay. And that might seem like an extreme example compared to what you know about sleep. But when you start to peel back the layers of all that happens while we sleep and all that it does to our body, our brains, our organs, our longevity, our ability to be productive, our mental health improvement, our emotional health improvement, our physical health improvement, it's a spot on analogy of just saying, oh, I'll put up with one valve not working that doctor didn't fix for me. It is exactly that, because poor sleep is directly correlated to poor cardiovascular health, as one example of many.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very important, and we take it to heart here, and we help you find that right fit. And so please don't put up with bad sleep products. Come in. I don't know if that testimonial referenced what she got 10 years ago as far as price level to what she got now.
It was just the most expensive beauty rest that they had. And
right.
I think in her mind, it was good because it was a brand she recognized, and it was the most expensive
and it was a high
thing.
Price, yeah.
And the salesperson probably said, hey, it's the best thing we've got, or, probably something related to that. But it really wasn't the best fit for her.
And my point in sharing that and going down that road is that likely, this side of the showroom that we're on, all of those price points are likely that price point or lower from 10 years ago. Money spent on a mattress 10 years ago today is money more spent today. My point being, there's still a lot of value in what's out there. And so again, don't stay stuck in a bad product. Come in, talk with us, and we'll point you in the right direction, whether that's with us or not. Maybe it is fitting for a new pillow. Maybe it's a topper. Maybe it's an adjustable bed base. But we can help improve what you have and make it better. There's no reason to stay stuck in that bad product. So just talk with us. Yep. All right.
I think that's the show.
I think it is. Do you want to take us out?
Yeah. Hey, catch us next week, Monday, 2 o'clock, Lancaster Connects. Got some more great guests lined up for the rest of the year. I think we're booked out for the rest of the year, which is fantastic. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. Fill out the simple form there, and we'll get you on the calendar for 2025 next year?
25.
So, hey, till the next connection, see you next time.